welcome back, man. This is season 2, the introduction of Head to Head, our interview series, exclusively online, featuring some amazing MCs, producers, just hip hop legends, man. And as we kicked off season 1 last year, man, it's just me and, the co-founder of the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop, the one and only DJ.
Tom Foolery Beats.
Yeah, alongside SKANDOUZ, the hip hop original.
To see you, man.
Yeah, man, good to see you. Looking well. We've got, a very exciting season ahead. But we always take this time, to give people a little refresh, if they're just checking out the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop for the first time, a little bit of background about what we've done as a team up until this point, and some of our accomplishments and what we got coming. So I don't know if you want to do like a nice little intro, Tom, of how we began. And
tell people humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings.
And where we're at now as well. I guess, so we kind of got together in 2014. Literally met in the youth club in the studio with Nigel. So I was, he was teaching me about how to use Logic and things like that, and helped me a lot with my production stuff. Well, it's amazing how many things happen so fast, man. Crazy. But that was it. You put your head around the door and we're like, somehow we got chatting about hip hop, I don't know what. And there were some flyers. I remember for HFM, we're recruiting some DJs and we were like, right, let's try and get on this. Did a few
demo shows. You had an idea for a name.
That's it.
That you pitched, Connoisseurs of Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Always been intrigued. What made you think connoisseurs of all things?
Well, I think I just found that I ended up having an almost encyclopedic kind of nerdy knowledge of hip hop, and it was, instead of calling it like hip hop nerds or something, I thought, well, connoisseurs is much kind of, it is like being a connoisseur of a fine wine, or fine wines, or so it's about, but also another parallel with that is that I'm very much stuck in the past with my hip hop as well. I'll accept, I admit that. And so like a connoisseur of wines, they're often looking back at the old stuff, So it's another reason why.
And for me, it genuinely does feel like such an appropriate name. Some people get names where it's like, that don't really suit you. But I mean, like you said, you've got a deep knowledge of hip hop, its history. I do too. We listen to lots of hip hop. Go to gigs. It's just, we've met like a lot of our hip hop heroes over the years as well, which has been amazing. And really and truly, it's kind of like
fantastic,
a name that's enabled us to grow and expand, and built up like a respect around it as well.
Yeah, it's true. I think sometimes people see the name and they're like, "Rare, that sounds like the real stuff," That's me. Seriously, I think people like the Chuck D's and the Cool Keiths, they might be like, they want to be associated with, that kind of perspective of hip hop. Because there's so much rubbish in hip hop. It's people want to keep it true, keep it real.
And I think that's also helped us with our style of interview as well. We've definitely been more about the music and your bodies of work and what makes you so passionate about hip hop culture and stuff, rather than really the gossip side of things and the You know, and I think that's something that's been very consistent throughout our interviews from the beginning, even, you know, and something that you know, I'm sure we're both very proud of as well, you know. And yeah, it's when I sometimes, like, just like you, man, I'll sit back and I look at the body of work that we've accomplished in the last 5-6 years, even more. We're about to step into our 7th year, you know, 3/4 of a way through a decade, you know. And you know, it's a solid body of work. You know, we've evolved something that started out as a demo recording at your house to, you know, we've taken it around the, you know, around Europe even. You know, we've conducted interviews in other countries. You know, we've connected with MCs in the UK, outside of the UK, in the States. You know, like we've taken it to a point now where we've put out like a really respectable hip hop book. You know, so it's just, yeah, and I still feel like there's so much more room to grow as well.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we've even got the merch going as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, big up Greg with the designs and stuff.
Yeah. So there's the website, there's the clothes that you can get, Connoisseurs of Hip Hop merchandise on Amazon at the moment, you know. Yeah, and I think with this head-to-head series, initially for me, it was more or less as I was thinking of a unique promotional campaign when we just released a book. And I was and the book is called The Interviews. So I thought, let's do some more interviews, you know? And for me, it was also an opportunity to interview a lot of artists that we never had a chance to get on the radio show, you know, and there was a long list, you know. I don't know how, but it almost got to the point where it was like, you know what, we hold enough respect where, you know, I can message almost any artist and ask them if they want to interview, and they'll say yes, you know. So and there was still some that I genuinely want to speak to, you know, and pick their brains and get a deeper understanding of their origins and why they do what they do, you know. And that's kind of the fun part of it. So
yeah, well, you got
looked at it,
a decent lineup there.
Yeah,
from what I've heard.
So
and,
again,
you know,
this is
prospective interviews for volume 2, perhaps, as well.
Yes, and that's something we will definitely need to explore in the new year as well, where we're going to take the series of books with volume 2. But even with this being a preview episode of Head to Head season 2, you know, we've definitely got some big names this year as well. You know, like definitely watch out for Bronze Nazareth, who is a legend from Detroit, an affiliate of the Wu-Tang Clan. You know, his mentor is the RZA. You know, we had an amazing interview. We've got interviews with Wordsworth coming, Blades, UK hip hop legends. You know.
That's such a big one there,
So some incredible names that are going to be coming in the next few weeks, even. As I'm you know, it's going to be hard because I've got a lot of these interviews that are going to be piling up over the next few days, and I've got to try and stretch them out like one a week, you know. So it's going to be but it's exciting.
But they're all coming all at once.
Just trying to pile them up as much as I can at the moment, you know, edit them up and then just literally just kind of like drip feed them out like consistently over the next couple of months, you know. So
it sounds great.
Interesting. Should be interesting.
Well, the previous series was fantastic as well, man, you know.
Yeah, and I think the another freedom I've noticed with these podcast interviews, sometimes we're not restrained by the length of time of a radio show. So like, for example, the interview last year with Funky DL and Arrested Development and Genesis Elijah, those are interviews that went clean over an hour long, you know. We'll go down as some of our longest interviews. So, you know, so
that's because you make people feel so comfortable, man. It's just like they're at home chatting, you know.
That's kind of the vibe. That's kind of the tone that we've always tried to set.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
always been
and a lot of artists, especially the ones we generally approach, have really long, in-depth careers. You know, long origin stories, and you know, just have so much they want to say and get off their chest. You know.
And it's impossible to do a 15-minute interview with people.
There
like
you
that
go, man.
sometimes.
You know, and a lot
Scratch
of these
the surface.
artists. Yeah, and a lot of these legends are such fascinating people, you know, especially like true creatives, and it's fascinating as well doing these interviews, as you know, Tom. You know, it's finding out these nuggets that behind certain songs that we love, that we never knew. You know,
the backstories and that.
Backstories, things that we don't necessarily hear in interviews and other things, but they tell us.
Yeah,
you know,
you hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, so we've definitely been fortunate enough to get some really good scoops over the years. You know, and anybody that's watching this right now, you know, if you're a fan of what we're doing with the head-to-head interviews, and or you've got the book, you know, on our Mixcloud page, if you Google Connoisseurs of Hip Hop Mixcloud, we've got like let's say about 100. How many Connoisseurs of Hip Hop shows did we do? 100 and
130 or so. What, between Itch and Real Rebels?
Yeah.
So it's like 80 on Itch and like 50 on Real Rebels.
Yeah.
And then another 100 pods on top of that.
Yeah. About 113 podcasts on top of that. And some of those shows we doubled up interviews as well. So I would even say there could be around 200 interviews maybe, you know. So there's definitely a large archive for you guys to check out and deep dive into, you know. So yeah, man, you know. But I mean, any particular interviews are you looking forward to this year, Tom?
Well, definitely the Blade one, for sure, and the Bronze Nazareth that you mentioned. And I have to look at that list.
Yeah, Lewis Parker's coming as well.
Lewis Parker, for sure.
Lewis Parker is definitely an artist who rarely does interviews, so that's going to be like,
you know, I'm a big fan. Yeah, Lewis Parker he was key to kickstarting my interest in hip hop, really.
Yeah.
Farmer G, that's a big one. That's awesome.
Farmer G as well, yeah.
And Cy Philly.
Yeah,
Verbs as well. Verbs is dope.
Verbs, yeah.
He's fully fledged member of High Focus. He's getting on everything now, you know?
Yeah. Incredible producer, man. I mean, MC, yeah. You know?
The Cookie Crew one will be really interesting because I know so little about them.
Yeah.
But I know that they were really important to a lot of key artists, you know, at the start of the 90s.
Yeah.
Like Rodney P and people like that.
Yeah.
That would be quite interesting. Lord Apex. He's a new kid on the block, relatively new kid on the block. I hadn't heard of him last year.
Yeah.
But I really like that last project he did. It's fantastic.
Yeah. But that leads me to another thing, you know, Tom. I mean, in terms of this year, who's been like your main discoveries or any particular albums that have stuck out to you this year that you've listened to?
Well, I've been loving this Confucius one recently. Maybe it's because I've I only did it like last week or so. It's still fresh in my mind. But I literally bumped that album like 2 months on the trot, you know. And got multiple repeat plays, you know. So that doesn't happen that often.
And that's another.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and that's another thing I forgot to mention really as well. Another string to our bow is the album reviews. We do a lot of, do a lot of fantastic album reviews, which I've tried to.
It's great to do those,
I should get back on it actually and try and separate them and have them as their own YouTube videos as well, just the album reviews by themselves. I think that might be an idea, just to edit them out as well. You know, there is a few of them on our YouTube channel as well. Just the album reviews. So the new Confucius MC album is amazing. And you know, as much as we do listen to American artists, we do make an effort really to support the underground hip hop scene in the UK as well. You know, and a lot of these incredible artists that I guess people probably just by, I don't know, maybe a bias for American artists would probably put American artists over them. But really and truly, if you look at their bodies of work, in fact, it's actually interesting. When I was speaking to Bronze Nazareth last night, the amount of respect he had for Leaf Dog and the Four Owls. And, you know, he was like, he can't wait to collaborate with them again. You know, it's just the quality of their work. You know, and it wasn't a case of these English guys. It was just like this guy as an MC, as a producer, is amazing. You know, and it's the respect that these guys have for English artists, which is amazing, which we never used to get back in the day. But it's great to hear. It's great to hear it now. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're always going to be they kind of they dwarf us. So to speak, they're always going to be a massive neighbor over there.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because I guess a lot of the more popular
it's difficult
UK
to compare the size.
Yeah, but a lot of the most popular new wave UK artists, like say your Stormzy's and whoever's the top, like Gets, who's just sold out the Roundhouse. You know, these guys, they're global following and their videos get more streams and follows than a lot of these American artists. So in some ways, you know, a lot of them are even surpassing a lot of the American artists as well, which is something we're not probably used to seeing.
That's interesting to hear.
And they'll probably do more financially in Europe and touring, you know, than a lot of these American artists as well. So and it's good to see artists like Skepta and a lot of American hip hop artists' albums, and it not seem strange to see him on the track list. You know, it's just he just slots in and he you know, dominates the tracks. So definitely we need to see more of that, man. But you know,
they're starting to emerge. I know people like Ed Sheeran are, you know, inviting them over to, you know, to record. You know, he's getting people a lot of exposure, maybe grime artists and that, you know, out in the States. I don't know. I always think of it as a level playing field, you know. I never, you know, I probably do have bias because I can relate maybe to English hip hop more. But I like to think of it as a level playing field that, you know, an American album has just as much a chance of being reviewed as a British one, or probably more, actually. I just go straight on what I think is best, and that's it. Full stop.
And it makes me even think about this Little Sims album that came out this year, who, like, a lot of even American critics are saying that will genuinely be in their top 10 albums of the year, you know, when it comes to the end of December. You know, and you wouldn't even be surprised if you saw it. You know, I know it's in my top 10, definitely, because that album was incredible. Like, hands down, best UK hip hop artist album I've heard this year. Like, and it's not even close. You know, the production value, like the concepts, the lyrics, like it's just incredible.
She's at a very good point in her career right now. I mean, she's still got that, you know, that passion to get there. She's still not made it quite yet. You know, she's still striving, still pushing herself. You know, and that's important.
Still sounds very hungry as well. So
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
think she still wants all the respect, you know. She wants like to
Well,
be
she knows she's still not
undisputed.
really known over there, and yeah, and that album was so eclectic as well.
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps that's why I preferred the Confucius, because it's so sort of stuck on one thing which I think is amazing, which is, you know, like kind of jazzy, smooth hip hop. But you know, she does about no fewer than like 6 different genres on that album.
Oh yeah.
You know, which is
Yeah.
always going to be tricky. But she pulls it
yeah.
off really well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See, but me as speaking as a hip hop artist, what she does is like definitely down my street. That's my cup of tea. You know, I'm a person, I will never stick to one type of hip hop. It would definitely be dancing around, you know, and that's you know, it might not be to everybody's liking, but it's like, if you really want to express yourself as an artist, you know, it's not going to be just one type of thing that you're into. You know,
Yeah,
just growing up in the UK and it
hip
being
hop
so
is so
diverse.
big. Hip hop is so diverse. There's so much.
Yeah.
So many different sorts, man. So yeah, I guess, you know, that's partly why you know, I remember actually being worried at the start of Connoisseurs of Hip Hop. I remember saying to my brother, my older brother, like, I'm gonna start doing this show called Connoisseurs of Hip Hop, and I only know about old hip hop. I don't know anything about the new stuff. Like, can you like help me out? Tell me, who have I got to be listening to? You know, but yeah, it's great, you know, and I guess that's what I love about hip hop, is that it samples from every genre, more or less. Well, maybe not death metal that much, but but you know, it is a sort of amalgamation of many musical tastes, and just with the common theme that usually it's got some kind of chunky fat beat on it.
Man. So how do you think that you've grown like in the last 6 years, man? I mean, in terms of like obviously being someone that listened to primarily like golden era hip hop, to having your mind expanded through, you know, a lot of the newer stuff and meeting a wider range of artists, you know, going to more shows and stuff. How do you think that's affected what you listen to?
I don't know. I just think it's a wonderful thing, man. I mean, you see how many people are pushing it in different directions, and you know, doing it at such a high level as well. The technology now is amazing. You know, that's helped everybody massively as well. You know, pretty much, you know, it's accessible now to people, which I think has pushed the standard up. And you know, it's a good thing. It's a community as well. You know, it's and possibly a tight-knit community. I mean, I know lots of people, you know, they do it on the side. They got the day job.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, because, you know, less and less can hip hop pay for your bills, you know. And so for a lot of people, it is a team thing. You know, you gotta draw on all your resources and pull people together to make the best possible product or project. And you know, I think a lot of people just want to create this scene. They realize that, you know, we're onto something good here. We can bring people together. We can make art that's long lasting. And it, you know, and everybody can benefit from it. Not just the people making it, but, you know, that's the idea, man.
Yeah, and that's definitely a beautiful note to think about, man. You know, as we journey on, and with this, especially with this series, this head-to-head series that we've got, and these incredible artists that we've got coming through. You know, definitely excited to speak to a lot of these artists and, you know, pick their brain, man, and just, you know, in an attempt to continue to build this what we call the hip hop community. You know, open especially our audience up to a lot of hip hop artists that they may not be too familiar with. Share a side of these artists that we, you know, might not even know about. You know, I'm definitely personally excited to speak to Ramsey.
We learn a lot as well, don't we? Oh, Ransom Bad Bones, that's a big one.
Yeah, excited to speak to him, excited to speak to Lewis Parker, because there's so much about Lewis Parker that I don't know. You know, so it's just, you know, it'd be interesting to learn about his techniques of how he produces and his process when it comes to writing, you know, and just, and that's what you get with our interviews, man. It's a deep dive, you know, so you definitely get a lot
keeping people in the know. Because it's, you know, I guess they can rely on us. That's another reason why it's called the Connoisseurs, right? Because it sort of guarantees a certain level of, you know, of taste, I think. And I mean, I don't know. Our taste might not be everybody's taste, but I know what my taste is.
And I think what people get from us, man, is just two guys that are passionate about hip hop culture, you know, and we're not biased in terms of what we listen to. You know, we're quite open. We will give you quite a wide array of MCs and producers and DJs. You know, even if you look at our book, you can just see the range of artists on that cover. You know, it's from your Skinny Mans to your Chuck D's to your, you know, Cool Keiths, Homeboy Sandmans. You know, there's just such a Pete Rock, Jazzy Jeff. You know, there's such a wide range, man, and that's what you and I think it perfectly summarizes, you know, what we're about, and and definitely salute all the people that have supported us up until this point, you know,
contributed as well,
contributed as well, you know, and helped us to grow, and you know, as we continue on, man, and to do even more cool stuff.
That's it, man. What can I say? Good luck with all these interviews, man.
So for the people that are, you know, going to tune in to the remainders, man, we've got a lot to look forward to, kicking off with the official episode 1 of season 2 of the head-to-head interviews coming this Monday at 9 p.m. on the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop YouTube channel. And you'll see it like a shortened version on the Instagram page as well. So the legendary hip hop MC producer Bronze Nazareth. So definitely check that one out on Monday, and some of the other exciting interviews we've got coming up soon, as well as checking out the podcast, amazingly arranged and sequenced by Tom Foolery Beats, with the album reviews as well. On our Mixcloud channel, and also the book, also the merchandise, the jumpers, the hoodies, t-shirts, and definitely check out our website and all the stay tuned for all the other amazing things we have coming. Anything else you want to say, Tom, before we?
That's it. Well, I mean, you know, all of this, I guess all this stuff that's ballooned out of it, I guess, you know, it's all started with the music, just getting the music out to people. But if we can, you know, delve deeper, go harder, then why not expand and take it to the next level? And that's what we're doing, man.
And keep spinning those classics non-stop.
Exactly.
Exactly. So for the people in the Instagram world, YouTube world, and everybody else locked in, till next time, peace from the Connoisseurs. Been SKANDOUZ, the hip hop original, alongside
Tom Foolery Beats.
Nice. Peace.